Maybe we've all lost touch in what Pokemon is really all about. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Rich Nobody, and I hope y'all are having a blessed day today because right now I'm kind of struggling. So, I wanted to make this video a little while ago because the news that I'm going to be talking about dropped a little while ago, but it's basically surrounding a video that a very known YouTuber in the Pokemon hobby decided to stop making videos. And of course, as some of you may know, that is Rob Burns, or Rob Does Pokemon. And he did a lot of like not investing content, but like looking at the market and seeing how the prices have fluctuated over time and just, certain plays you can make. And he did some live streams here and there with some really, cool people and stuff. But he's done. And honestly, that's really sad to see, but I completely respect his decision. What he's going through right now. You can't really, balance YouTube content and being all like super joyful and taking the time to actually make the content while you have all these other things going on. So I completely respect his decision to step away. And I mean, it's just really sad to see. It's never really a good feeling when you have someone that is on YouTube that you watch on a regular basis. They become part of like your life, your routine, and then just having them be gone now. It's almost like, I was going to say death, but I think that's kind of, weird. So we're going to go ahead and just pretend that didn't happen. But I wanted to make this video in somewhat of a response to that because he did make a really good point in that video that I want to base this entire video off of. And that's the entire problem that the Pokemon community right now is really money hungry. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of profit driven decisions that happen in this hobby nowadays because there's so much money to be made in this hobby. Now, while that is true, that isn't what Pokemon was originally made for. It was a trading card game that had a game built into the cards themselves, and they, had some really nice artwork and stuff, so it was like a tradable thing, a collectible thing, and that's kind of how it was. Now you're probably saying, yeah, collectibles are very profit driven because it's stuff that people want and they're willing to pay top dollar for it, especially if there's a lot of demand. But what I mean is that there's a lot of just very small, nuanced things in this hobby right now that doesn't need to be profit driven right off the bat. We have this whole Journey Together set releasing in like a week. It's coming very, very soon. And those boxes are already selling for way above MSRP to the point to where the people that do end up getting it are just, they're spending way too much money on it. And that's simply because, there's, the whole problem that Pokemon isn't printing enough. But that's a different story for another day. I know a lot of people talk about, short print conspiracies and whatever. But the people that are buying Journey Together are most likely reselling it for a higher profit because that's just how the hobby's working right now. Now you're probably thinking some people are going to open it, and yeah, they will, but they're not going to feel like it's a good financial decision to do so because it's a very expensive box and the cards may not hold value as the set releases. You never know until you actually start to see the cards on the market. But that doesn't stop the fact that this hobby should not be completely money driven. It's a collectible thing, right? Which is kind of profit driven, but there's another side to collecting that isn't about profit. It's about having the item and just communicating with the community like, this is a really cool card, or this is a really cool box, and it's like, I can't believe I got to, get this. And I'm not sure how to find the right words on how to express how I feel about how this hobby it's gone so far away from what it used to be, at least from what I feel like. Because back whenever I started collecting in the first place, back in 2016 when XY Evolutions came out, there wasn't a whole lot of, let's invest in this and let's buy up a bunch of it and then we'll hold it for 5 years and we'll sell it later and all this crazy stuff. Like, it probably was existing back then, but it wasn't as big as it is now. And I just find that to be a big problem. And now I want to kind of shift to the very first video I made on this channel. Because if any of you have been watching since the beginning, you will have known that my whole reason for sort of being here was to kind of start a Pokemon card business and, expand to where I could be financially free enough to where I don't have to work anymore and I can just sort of do this as, a fun hobby that makes me money, and that's kind of how I started all of this. But now, after seeing how crazy the market has been, I'm not quitting. But I think there needs to be a reevaluation of why I'm here. And that's another reason why it took me so long to actually just sit down and make this video, because why am I actually here? I didn't know for a little bit, because I really wanted like the business thing to work out, and I still think I can do that to a degree, but the way I was thinking about it and how the market is and trying to scale to a point where I can get the ball rolling, it wasn't working out as well as I thought it would have. And that's not necessarily my fault. It's just the market and the community is just, it's so big and hectic right now. It's impossible to get the ball rolling on something as serious as starting a business and selling Pokemon cards to people. I always like to look at the, consumer side of things. I personally wouldn't want to buy a $200 box if I know for a fact that you can get it cheaper. It's just the market won't allow you to get it cheaper right now. So, the people that have to spend more typically aren't very happy about it. But instead of focusing on sealed product, I think I've decided I want to kind of take the singles market side of the Pokemon business side of things. Now, I'm not saying this because I have plans to go to a show and vend anytime soon. I have nowhere near the amount of product that I would need to actually, sit there and be there for the whole show and actually have stuff to give to people. I guess it could kind of work, but there's a lot of planning that has to go behind that. So, not planning on doing it anytime soon. Instead of doing like a sealed product business where I'm at home and I get product delivered to me, I throw it on the website, have it sold, and I'm not really leaving the house all that much. I guess you could for personal reasons, but I want to be able to be within the community, out in the outside world, go to card shows and talk to people. I think that is where I want to be now that I've sort of reevaluated, this Pokemon business thing may not work the way I initially intended to, and that's fine. Things change. But there's still a lot of opportunity for money to be made, but at the same time, not like abusing the system, not really even abusing the system, because selling sealed product is not, an abusive thing to do. I'm not saying that at all. But I think, like me personally, I would just enjoy the hobby more if I dealt with the singles market rather than the sealed product, because Pokemon is all about the cards, and selling singles, you're dealing with the cards all the time. With sealed product, you're kind of just looking at the box and stuff, and you don't really have an attachment to what the product is actually inside the box that you're selling. But I just think selling single cards to people at like card shows and online and stuff, I think that would just be, it would be a more intimate, is kind of a weird word, but I'd say like a more intimate way of enjoying the hobby. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I could be confusing a few people, but that's just how I feel about the whole singles versus sealed product business concept. I do actually have a Collecticon coming up near where I live. I live in the Houston area, and we have Collecticon coming at the end of April. So I think I'm going to go there and I'm just going to take in everything. I'm going to be there for both days, and I'm just going to feel for how things move around in the convention. Who knows? Maybe the whole business side of things just isn't for me. I haven't actually seen it work, firsthand yet, but I do like the concept of it. I think the biggest takeaway for this video is that we need to, as a community, just step back a little bit, understand why you are personally in the hobby, and that's it shouldn't be focused around making a profit because there's a lot of enjoyment to be had in collecting the cards and collecting the sealed product. You shouldn't be looking at every purchase you make in Pokemon on like, am I going to make a profit out of this? Because I have a problem with that. I'll be buying, ETBs collection boxes, and if I don't pull a card that pays for the box in unrealized gains, I get kind of disappointed. But I really shouldn't be doing that because it really takes the fun out of collecting. Like, if you pull a good card, you should be happy you pulled a good card. Obviously, if you get nothing like out of a Prismatic Evolutions ETB, that's a completely different story. But if you're pulling something that isn't worth as much as what the box was, you shouldn't be upset about that. You should be, enjoying the card that you pulled. Sorry, this video is a little bit on the shorter side. It may not be. I'm not sure. I've been recording for 18 minutes. We'll see how it goes in the editing process, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, we got some coming, so don't you worry. And yeah, we'll catch y'all in the next one.